The last resort, the last resort, the last resort. Let's not waste time, folks.
Such gaslighting to be told that your reaction is the problem and not the thing you're reacting to. And she's not even sorry she tried to attack me.
I mean, does Shekinah have a point when you are being ridiculed for reacting to something that triggered you and nobody's focusing on what actually triggered you in the first place? Well, let's look at it this way. Because this is all about relationship therapy, all right? I guess obviously within the relationship stuff in particular, this is a conversation that is worth having. But I guess really and truly, when it comes to Sarper's role, when it comes to how his wife is feeling right now, his role is to be more understanding to his wife than it is to be understanding to other people. And his role should be more to be trying to comfort his wife rather than focusing on how to, what's the word I'm looking for here? Rather than focus on how to reintegrate themselves back in with the rest of the group. Because when the damage is done, the damage is done. So it makes me wonder, does Sarper care more about fixing and solving the issues in his relationship, or does he care more about people liking him? Let's move on.
Sarper isn't understanding my concerns. He doesn't seem like we're on the same team anymore. And if my own husband doesn't understand me, I mean, I just feel completely alone and I feel like the whole world is against me.
Now, let's just forget about the dislike that people have for Shekinah. Let's just ignore that for a second, okay? And let's really think about what's going on here, because I'm pretty sure that there are many times people are in relationships, whether it's be a man or woman, who don't feel respected, don't feel protected, don't feel valued, don't feel understood by their partner. And when that happens, that can definitely show a massive issue within the relationship. And it's definitely something that can impact the relationship in the long haul even more, because it means that there is because when there's lack of trust, knowing that you can go to your partner, lack of trust of knowing you can go to the partner knowing that they are not going to be willing to understand you, will always be a problem. Now, of course, in life, there's a certain point where we need our partner to hold us accountable. But then there's also in times in life when we also need our partner to have our back. But most importantly, whether we need our partner to hold us accountable or to have our partner hold us back, the main thing is how our partner will address this information towards us. The question is, when it comes to Shekinah and Sarper, is she still stressing because she is the typical petty Shekinah that she is, or is she stressing because, generally speaking, when it comes to Sarper doesn't actually know how to listen to what his wife is actually trying to say? But also, let's not forget, Sarper is somebody that has very lack of history within relationships. All he's ever done is sleep and move on. So therefore, his emotional intelligence to understand his wife may not be there. But of course, even if but then again, if he had the emotional intelligence to understand his wife, he probably would have never married Shekinah in the first place. So there is also that part too. Now, I'm not even playing devil's advocate in this situation. What I'm trying to do is look at the situation and to break it down that may be relatable to something that maybe you're going through, something you've been through, or maybe help you whenever you may go through something like this. So more of the situation is, when your partner is expressing something, do your best to listen and do your best to make sure that you are on their side, especially when it comes to other people being involved. And I feel like in this situation, I'm more concerned about whether or not Sarper is more concerned about everybody else liking him, or is he more concerned in terms of making his wife feel safe? Please answer that question for me. But let's play a little bit more, and then by the time we finish this, then you can give me the answer.
I'm saying if she's at an activity and I can't join because she's in the activity, I don't want you to be there without me.
I just the first in your life follow my lead. I am the breadwinner. I'm the leader.
I felt like you, and if you acknowledge.
And the fact that he's saying they should follow my lead because I'm the breadwinner is not convincing in any shape or form. What's that got to do with anything? And to be honest with you,
my feelings and what I'm trying to tell you, I feel, but you don't. I feel unsafe.
Okay, America.
I personally don't really blame her for feeling unsafe, because she's expressing to her husband that, hey, I don't want to be around a certain individual because that individual is simply moving mad when it comes to being violent. And not only do I not want to be around that individual, at the same time, everyone else around that individual also doesn't like me neither. So therefore, I'm not really in a position where I can be around these people and feel comfortable, feel cool, just to feel like me myself. I'm going to feel tense the whole time. Now, we can talk about who caused the issue, right? But that's not even the point anymore. We've surpassed that. The reason we've surpassed that is because Sarper has gone to this resort with Shekinah. He has gone there to resolve and fix the issues with his wife, Shekinah. So his number one priority should be trying to fix his situation with his wife, Shekinah. Now, of course, just because he wants to be buddy-buddy with everybody else, guess what, buddy? That ship has sailed. Why? Because of what has happened. And in the situation that you're in, you're going to have to put yourself in that mode. You're like, you know what? I'm not even here to be friends with these folks. I'm actually to solve my issue. And also on top of that, we have known that the therapist can have one-on-one sessions with couples. So the fact that Sarper kept putting this energy out there about, yeah, but like this whole thing is that we have to do in group. No, you don't. The group thing isn't a must, because we've seen them all have individual ones. So really and truly, in my mind, has the man, Sarper should be like, you know what? In his head, he should be like, okay, I know my wife has put me in this situation that I really don't want to be in, but at the same time, I am here to fix my relationship. So I'm going to have to just ignore those folks now and just focus on my wife. If I want to be with her, if I want to make it work, then I got to do what I got to do, and that is to be on my wife's side. If I see everybody else, I'll say hi to them in passing, be respectful. That's what I'll say in my head. And then what I would then say out loud is then I would then say, listen, babe, we came here for us. So let's go do us. Simple as 1, 2, 3. That's what I say. I wouldn't be trying to say, well, follow my lead, and my lead means I'm going to ignore the fact that you're feeling scared, or I'm going to ignore what you just said, and, you know, just go back into the group and try and get people to like you again. That's not really a good lead to follow him, because it means that which means that whenever she's afraid, you're always going to be more than happy to continuously still put her in danger. So these are the things we have to think about, folks. So if you're ever in a situation with anyone, remember what I said before. This isn't about playing devil's advocate or trying to understand Shekinah or Sarper. No, I'm using the situation to give you guys some information that I have in my head that may help you in a current situation or in a future situation, or make you think about a previous situation about how things went the way they are. So more of the situation is that this is how Sarper should go about it. She's the one that's in that business, so therefore he should be like, listen, you know what? We came here for ourselves, so you know what? Screw them. Simple as that. Simple as that. So again, I asked the question, is Sarper thinking more about his relationship, or is he thinking more about the fact that he wants people to like him?
Finished. No therapy.
Why should I have to go? She should have to go.
They are crowded.
She's a cancer in this group, getting everyone against me. Why do I have to go?
Now, obviously, this is the part where, you know, she's definitely moving mad. I mean, is a cancer in the group? Who knows? But if anything, people don't dislike you because of Thais. People were disliking you before Thais anyway. So how about you take accountability for that and just, you know, that was all you, love. All completely you. But hey, it is what it is. With that being said, folks, we're now going to move on to the next one. And that one itself in particular being Cara and G.
So you normally into biking?
But I used to have a motorcycle. That's not one of the things that I'm gonna get as soon as I get back home.
Let me give you folks some context real quick. So they are on a task, and their task is to go on a date on their first date as if they've met for the first time ever, which I guess kind of made sense on their first date, but you get the point. But that date then took a turn after he mentioned about getting another bike, and let's find out why.
You better not go out and buy a motorcycle, when you know that motorcycle has been sitting in our shed for 3 years.
I mean, that's kind of brazy still, to know that this man has a whole other motorcycle in the shed and he wants to go and get another one, especially given the financial conflict that these two have. Which one am I speaking of? Well, we'll get there in a second.
My friend gifted to him because he voiced he wanted a motorcycle, and it has been sitting in the shed for years, undriven, untouched, but yet this man wants to buy another motorcycle.
You know, I really wish people would start to waken up more and more to G's character. Like, oh man, you know, one thing that I find most mind-boggling about the 90-day fan universe is when people don't like a certain partner in that relationship, they will let so many things go over the head with the other person. But we'll get there.
Because the motorcycle doesn't function.
But why you never got it fixed? But you just didn't do
You
anything
have to
with
spend
it.
too much money.
But why not sell it or get rid of it? She's been sitting there.
Else?
Before we even get into anything else, so she said, why not sell it, get rid of it? Now, let's just make this abundantly clear, folks, okay? When it comes to Cara and G's relationship, what has been one of the biggest hurdles. What has been one of the biggest issues this season so far? One of them has been tied to a simple thing called finances. Why? Because you see, G's had an issue with Cara being on OF to earn money for her child, for her career, for the bills. That's why she said that she's on OF. Meanwhile, at the same time, Patrick then made a point where he said, if G was earning enough money to help you with your child, your bills, everything, would you then be on OF? Cara then jokingly said, yeah, I'll definitely be off it. Which therefore means that she's obviously put herself in this position. Why? Because G is unable to provide. But he has a lot to say. Currently at this moment in time, it has been reported that this man only sees his child once a week. And also on top of that, does not necessarily provide really that much financial support towards the bills as well as their child. That is what's been reported so far. But yet he has the audacity to say that when I get back, I want to buy a new bike. But then when he's told and confronted about the bike, she says, but you've already got one. And this man simply said, oh, it'll be too expensive to replace that one. So then the counter is very simple. So why don't you just sell this one then before you get a new one? These are logical things. This is not even an attack by Cara. This is just logical information being said. But he's seen as an attack, you see, because you see, when it comes to G, he's not a man. He's a boy. He's still growing. He's still living back home and in that mindset of like, well, I'm a good looking guy, so I always get what I like. Women do count me give what I like. No, buddy, you're an American now, okay? You're in a place where you have to work, you have to work, you have to obviously, earn your way. And also on top of that, you're now in a situation where you've got a child as well. You're not a single guy anymore. Okay? So really and truly is, how can he sit there and feel as if she's trying to attack him about something that isn't an attack? It's just facts. Honestly,
I mean, if you could sign the papers to get yourself off of the deed for our house, could own a home. I just feel like he's not fiscally responsible. And it's just really hard to cycle away from 5 years of issues when...
So she put down all the money regarding their home. That's why she's talking about the deed, just to give you guys that clarity.
And all of these red flags are just right in front of me. Should be able to accrue equity on a home if he's dropping that much money on the motorcycle.
I get it. End of the day, we know that when we have a home, okay, equity is building every single day we live in a home, especially if we're looking after it and upgrading it. So if Cara is the one that is earning the money, paying all the bills, potentially doing certain things to the house to upgrade it, okay? And this man is literally out here talking about buying motorcycles rather than actually talking about, hey babe, I've got a new job. This is the money for the child. This is the money to also help with the house that the child lives in, or whatever it could be. But there is none of that being spoken about. So at the end of the day, this is not an attack by Cara. This is her just saying, well, why should you benefit from my hard work if you're not doing the same hard work back? It was very different when you first came in. You couldn't work. But once you got your work visa, all he's done is got a job, then quit it. Got a job, then quit it. Got a job, then quit it. Because all of a sudden he has this dream, and then that dream, and then this dream, and then that dream. Which isn't bad. But when you've got a family to look after, you got to move sensibly about how you want to pursue certain dreams. You got to move sensibly about how you leave job after job after job. You got to move sensibly. You're not a single man. Sometimes I believe this man behaves as if he's still this single guy and he can behave in the way that and he believes that his actions only impact him when they don't. Your actions also impact your child. And clearly your actions impact your relationship. But that's a bit different because both of their actions impacted their relationship. Do you see what I'm saying?
What demands respect all the time, but she never gets it back. Like, she literally has been selling whatever she wants online, selling whatever she...
He keeps talking about her selling herself online, but that is literally a deflection. Honestly, this whole thing about Cara being on OF isn't even relevant anymore. He's only saying it just so we can focus on her doing that, rather than focusing on the issue that he's bringing to the table, rather than focusing on how to bring solutions to the table. Stop talking about what Cara's done, because we already know what she's been doing. But the difference between what she's doing and what we're doing is that she's putting food on the table. Do I agree with her way? No. But have you given a solution? No. You're just Some people on this show just love to play the victim mentality. They love to make the other person look as much as the villain as possible, so therefore people give them a nice time. Ladies, especially for the ladies. I'm a man. I know how to read a man that is a good man. I know how to read a man that is a lazy man. I know how to read a man that is still a boy. I know how to read men for what they are. And to be fair, I can read women, to be fair, just as much, but probably men slightly better, because I am obviously of that gender, right? But yeah, women I can read well, very, very well. But let's continue.
She wants online, but you're kicking me out of the deed and lecturing me about the motorcycle. Yeah, for sure. That speaks about trying to fix our marriage.
And you see how he deflects it to the marriage. Buddy, does he not realize that the motorcycle, the deed, is a part of your marriage? So is the OF, also a part of your marriage. So if you want to fix the marriage, you have to address everything that is an issue. You cannot fix a marriage without addressing anything. So basically, like I said before, he's more than happy to talk about Cara, talk about the things that she's doing wrong. But when it comes to him, every time it comes to him, he runs away. He's done it every scene. Whenever he's put on the spot, he does one or two things. Three things. It's either one, he runs away. Two, he'll just sit there and say nothing and hope everybody else says it for him. Or three, he will deflect. This is three, deflecting. How can you say how can you complain about her expressing deeds and expressing motorcycles and then say that we're trying to fix the marriage? That's a part of it. She needs to know that you're going to have your head in the game when it comes to your finance. The same way he wants her to know that she's going to leave OF if they become together is the same way that she also needs her reassurance to know that, okay, if we get back together, I need to know that you're not going to be wise with money. I need to know, okay, that you're now going to start putting money to the table in terms of paying for this home, paying for our child. You cannot, he talks about how there's respect shown in one way, but there's another way. No, there's no respect on both sides. Because at the end of the day, the respect isn't coming. Why? Because the actions that have been given. All I'm saying is, like, he likes to sit there and complain and cry about how Kari do this, but anytime that she says anything, and do you know the good, you know the differences as well? When he does cry and complain about what Kara's doing, she will happily sit there and say, listen, I'm doing what I'm doing, and what? I do it loud and proud. And why? Because I need to pay my bills. I need to pay for my child. I need to pay for my career. She doesn't run away. She literally sits there and says with her chest, respect that. Respect that. But this guy, nah. I told you the three things that he does. But hey. What do I know, right? What do I know?
What exactly were you looking from me?
Feel supported. Like, I felt like I was drowning, managing the house, managing a new baby, managing my other two jobs. I just felt like I was bending over backwards to do everything.
And then?
And you took it all for granted. Like, took it all for granted. Took it all for granted.
Like, I wasn't doing anything for you. I had
a... His response, and I wasn't doing anything for you. No, your response should be, you know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe I just take this for granted, because that was what you was doing was a lot. You had a lot of things on the table. So you was doing a lot of things, and maybe I could have done more. But instead, he'd rather sit there and talk about himself and say, oh, so I wasn't doing enough. No, what she's trying to say is that she wants you to acknowledge that she's worked so hard for so many things, but she just wants to hear you say that you noticed it and you acknowledge it, and maybe you could have done slightly better. That's it. This isn't a tick for tack. But when you're having a conversation with people that are not emotional intelligence, this is what's going to happen. I'm not saying that Cara is emotional intelligence, but when it comes to between the two, she's got a better chance of being in than he has. Because like I said before, she says things with her chest. This guy,
a job that provides us insurance, and I was always giving you everything that I could have.
The same job that you left. Let's continue.
It's not enough. I was literally getting him still to the country and learning about the country. You see?
Now he wants to go, yeah, but you know, obviously when I get... Buddy, it's been a long time since you've been in the United States of America. In that time, you've had a whole child. You can't use that as an excuse. Like I said before, I know a man when I see... I know a certain man when I see one. This guy is nothing but lazy. And I'm going to tell you why, though. You see, this is one of the things, and this is an assumption, clearly. Sometimes in life, when you walk around with pretty privilege, handsome privilege, whatever, right? It can make you lazy because things are generally just given to you. You get away with anything and everything. You see what I'm saying? I just think at the end of the day, you know, he didn't recognize a woman like Cara was going to be somebody that was actually going to expect something from him. He's probably used to women that have just done everything for him. He's never had to lift a finger because they probably worship the grind he's worked on because of the way he looks or whatnot. But he's finally got a woman that's actually like, no, but I need you to also push your weight too. But at the same time, though, you've also got a child, so automatically you should want to push your own weight anyway for your child.
Somehow we lived the same experience and came out with two vastly different versions of what happened. And that's really hard for me to wrap my brain around.
And to be honest with you, I'm now at a point where I'm sick and tired of trying to react to certain things based on how TLC is presenting it. Because how TLC present things, we all know isn't 100% legit. We know they always have to pick someone to be the good and someone to the bad. But sometimes the person that is actually the bad is actually the good. Now, I'm not saying that Cara is necessarily the good in that type of caliber. But what I'm saying is that I don't want to be blinded anymore about the little details that clearly show me that there was errors in G just as much as there are errors in Cara. But the errors that I see in him are far much more vast, but errors I see in him are way much more crucial than the ones I see in her. Because, like I said before, he beats around our bush so many times. This woman only speaks of her chest.
I'm like moving the goalposts, or I keep like nothing he's ever going to do is good enough, and I don't think that's true. I wouldn't have moved the goalpost. He just had to get to the goalpost. It's not a moving target.
There you go. A goalpost is not a moving target. Like I said, he sat in the city, but I did everything I could. She's not contesting. You did everything you could. That's not the conversation, buddy. The conversation is that she did all of these things by choice, but you never once made her feel like you appreciate her hard efforts. That is the point that she is making. Okay? And also, she's also making the point that she was more than happy to do all those things because she was more than happy to be patient enough for you to finally catch up to whatever that goalpost was. But each time the goalpost was there, instead of you catching up to it, you quit your job or you did something that then made the goalpost literally get further and further away from yourself. But she never moved it. It was just the fact that you kept moving away from it. There's a fine line between somebody moving the goalpost compared to you running away from the goalpost. Two different things. But the matter of the fact is, folks, let me know your thoughts. What do you think? Am I moving mad? If I'm moving mad, then you're all crazy. But hey, maybe I'm moving mad. It's something that I've skipped here. But I'm just saying to you folks, right? At the end of the day, even if you don't want to take what I'm saying in reference to these two and you think I'm moving mad within these two, understand this, at least taking reference to your own life. Because I promise you now, some of you have probably been with somebody like this, okay, and allow that stuff to go over your head. And maybe you're still with that person, allow stuff to go over your head. And then sometimes you've been with someone like this, but then once you've left that person and then you've done some growth, you then realize that person was actually moving mad. Or sometimes you may be that person moving mad, and then when you reflect, you might be like, you know what, maybe I didn't appreciate that much. Maybe I didn't appreciate him that much. As you know what, now I see it, and I'm out of my feelings, I see it now. And that's what life is all about, understanding things. So even if you don't agree that what I'm saying is correct with these two, understand what I'm saying is still correct for many people. Don't let that go over your head, folks. Come on now, don't mess about. But nonetheless, though, let's move on to the next one. John. I'm kidding, this one brief and simple.
Once, you lied twice, how many times?
Why you yell at me?
Yeah, dude, like you're going nuts for no reason. Calm down.
Because I was
I want to say something real quick. Patrick is one hell of a wimp, as well as he is a hypocrite.
I didn't get any answers. I was asking what else. From you is it's none of your business.
Here, no.
That's all you say.
Let me talk.
I'm listening. Goodbye.
Bye.
See, you don't want to.
Patrick is nothing but a wimp and a hypocrite. Let's keep going.
Answer any questions. You just
Screaming at her for zero respect for her. It's so.
he doesn't have respect either, knucklehead. She's basically out of nowhere. So I'm just saying.
Say it again. Patrick is nothing but a wimp and a hypocrite.
It goes both ways.
Like you cannot talk to my wife like that.
Well, I just did.
Let's talk about it. You've allowed another man to scream at your wife. And the only time you decided to actually open your mouth was when your wife opened her mouth first. She said, "Don't talk to me like that." And then you was like, "Yeah, don't talk to me like that." So you need your wife to notify you when she needs you to step in? Wimp. Absolute wimp. But why is he a hypocrite? Because you see, I've already called him out this season for talking to the women the way he's been talking to them in ways that's not nice. There was a time when he was talking to Paula, didn't like it. Talking to Shekinah, didn't like it. He has shown nothing but disrespect to how he is addressing with some of the women this season. Anyway, Patrick himself alone. Then now his wife is being disrespected by his brother, and his sister does absolutely nothing, but then says something only because his wife says something. So he's a hypocrite for the fact that he's actually the same as his brother. Have no respect in terms of how they speak to women. And he's a wimp because he allows his brother to speak to his woman this way. You see, when John is around, Patrick is a whole different character. That mouth of his, that's yapping around, that's talking so much and instigating and saying so much BS. It goes very quiet. Becomes a baby, becomes a wimp. Becomes a little boy. How the hell has she stayed married to this man for as long as she has? I don't know. But don't get me wrong. Patrick is just as bad as Russ, just a little wimp. Wimp. To be fair, the men of this whole season are all wimps. I haven't seen a single man this whole season that has shown me a backbone to say, you know what, baby? I'm ready to step in and show you that I can lead you in a way that makes sense. I'm going to lead you in a way that shows you that I respect you. I'm going to lead you in a way that shows you that you're always going to be protected. You never need to be afraid. I'm going to lead you in a way that you know that no man can ever come into our lives and talk to you like dirt. I ain't seen that for none of these men this season. Every single one of them has been nothing but a wimp, nothing but a scumbag. Why are these women even with these men? And that's not me that's not me saying that these women deserve better because they're better people than these men specifically. But the women themselves, they're problematic in their own way. They're moving mad in their own way. Trust me when I tell you. But the matter of fact is though, no matter how problematic, no matter how moving mad a woman is, it doesn't mean that a man should stop being a man. If you're a man and you know how to stand on business, then you will know the right woman that needs to be in your life compared to the wrong woman that needs to be in your life. Every couple here is not compatible. Every single one of them is not compatible for different reasons. But for me as a man, I'm more disappointed in the men than I am in the women. Especially given the fact that when I look at the lineup of the women and look at their personalities, I sit there and I say to myself, these women aren't even that complicated. They are just moving mad because they have men that allow them to move mad because these men are nothing but boys. But yeah, Patrick. You couldn't even defend your own wife until she defended herself. And to make it worse, you didn't even walk out the room with her. She's upset. She's absolutely been taken back by your brother's disrespect. The same disrespect you've been given to other people. And yet you let her walk out all by herself. The same woman that you require and you say that you want to have intimacy with her every single night because you have this addiction to her or just sex in general. So you wanted to give her the goods, but yet you don't want to protect the goods? Ha! Scumbag mentality, folks. Scumbag mentality. But hold on a minute.
And he didn't do anything. And I'm sorry, but he should have stand up and say, like, I'm walking with you. He should have walked with you. I'm sorry, but I'm going to
She's not lying.
because he's an asshole. Bring it to the tell-all in front of Rebecca and I, and we'll see who will eat him alive.
I'll never just stop dancing or doing.
Now I truly hope that Paul is going to stick to her words, but now when the tell comes, I'm expecting it to rip into Patrick and to rip into John. And I'm sick and tired of John. I can't stand him more than I can't stand Patrick, because John is somebody that believes just because he's a loud person. He says that I don't shout at people and people think that I'm aggressive. I'm just a loud person, just who I am. Okay. Yeah, but at the same time though, you're telling me, hey, even as a loud person, you don't know how to rein it in when you're speaking to a woman. I promise you now, folks, okay, this is how you identify whether a man is a strong man, a good man, a strong man. If you see a man with a woman that is literally talking to him like, boom, but he still doesn't crack and he still speaks with such lovely respect, calm, cool, collected, then you know that man cannot be broken. You know that man knows his worth. Then you know that's the kind of man that if you actually humble yourself, he's going to treat you like queen level type stuff. I don't see that of any of these guys on this show. But nonetheless though, folks, let me leave it there. Give me your thoughts down below in the comment section. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Yeah, peace.